Mr. A.B. Musa is a renowned media and entertainment executive with over 3 decades of experience in the film industry. He is the CEO of Avalon, the cinema and film distribution company co-founded by his grandfather in 1939, which has played a pioneering role in South Africa's exhibition landscape. A very interesting history here. A.B. Musa comes from a family deeply rooted in both entrepreneurship and South Africa's liberation history, with ancestral links connected to Mahatma Gandhi's time in the country. And under his leadership, Avalon has also maintained its association with the Durban International Film Festival, one of Africa's leading film platforms. And here he is now at the Durban Indian Film Festival. So ladies and gentlemen, Mr. A.B. Musa also joining us on stage.
Impact on tourism and people wanting to come see the country. So there's, I think, various spin-offs that happen. In terms of why it's lulled, I think there's been various factors that have come into play, but I think the biggest recent factor is the impact of artificial intelligence. And that is having an impact on production in general. Even in Cape Town, a lot of television commercials and other type of content were shot, and it is now becoming more cost effective to use AI platforms. So there is various reasons that have impacted on it. I'm hopeful that there will be some balance of equilibrium between authentic human production, but coupled with that, there is the pressures of costs of production. There is no country in the world that I've seen that can compete in terms of production in India. India has got a very cost-effective, well-oiled machine. They know how to produce, they know how to produce volumes. I think the work ethic is very different in India than in South Africa in terms of the ability of being able to do it far more cost-effectively. But besides that, South Africa, the beauty of South Africa is we have a first-world environment at a third-world cost. So there is that balance, and I think over time there will be a balance found. But right now, AI is certainly having an impact, and it's a harsh reality, not unique to South Africa, but I think a challenge that's going to face the world.
His Excellency, you've been here now for I think less than 6 months in South Africa, in Durban particularly. What is Durban's potential in attracting filmmakers from India particularly?
Good morning. So, I've been here less than 6 months, as you said, and but I don't think it's just less than 6 months. It feels like I've been here for a long time, and it feels second home. So Durban has warmly welcomed me, as placed with me both arms. It feels at home, but at the same time, I see tremendous potential between our two people, between our two countries. We have shared history, as we all know. We have shared history, shared culture. But at the same time, I saw during G20, we also have shared aspirations. So the youths on both sides aspire for the same thing. So there's so many similarities between our two countries. There is so much potential to collaborate. And films is one of the major mediums which I see where we can connect people on both sides. It has, as A.B. mentioned, it has tremendous potential to increase the tourism. People, especially in the popular movies, would like to go and see the spot where it was shot. There may not be much at the spot, but people still would like to visit and see because there is an emotional bonding with the film. And that bonding changes to the place that they would like to go and see, oh, this scene was shot here. So we have many examples of just one film turning the tourism industry of that country around. And I see beautiful beaches here, I see wonderful sea. As I put it, we are maritime neighbors. On the Indian Ocean, you are on the other side, you are on this side. We are just neighbors. So it will be beautiful to collaborate more further with South Africa, and we at the consulate stand ready to facilitate that.
Jyoti, I want to bring you into the conversation here. As a filmmaker who concentrates on content more than commercialism, how can we turn that around? Because in South Africa, it seems like we have a problem where content-related films don't make as much money as the commercial films do. Like I was saying to you earlier on, if you're going to make a film that's a serious story, based on a serious story, it's probably not going to run for as long as a comedy film, particularly in the Indian community. And in India, throughout, we have films being made in Hindi, Gujarati, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, that are doing so well because they're based on authentic Indian stories. But I think filmmakers tend to forget that we have a very large Indian population in South Africa, and we have a very strong history connected to India as well. How can we tie the two countries and our stories?
So namaste everyone, and first of all, very, very warm wishes for our Navami, that's today. So I wish everyone a very happy Navami. I think what Mr. Musa said is very true, that AI has come in and they have really cut costs a lot, and it's very much easier for producers, or well, cost effective for producers. But India, we know, because when we want to shoot abroad from India, there are a lot of co-production treaties that are available with different countries. And that sort of acts as an incentive to any producer or any filmmaking studio, that at a slightly higher cost, they're getting that authentic location to shoot. There is an exchange of talent between two. So if you want to shoot with some characters who are of a different nationality, maybe they speak a different language, and that adds authenticity to your film, the story. It's so much nicer to go to another country and do it without having to struggle too much. Whereas if you're doing it in Mumbai or in India, then you're bringing those actors over, you need to be sure that they're tailored exactly, or you're cheating it, which is so wrong. So that is one of the things that we've also been discussing, and I'm really hoping by the time we come back next year, because we plan on coming back next year, we will have already have a co-production treaty in place, hopefully with South Africa, and we will be bringing units to shoot here. But also in terms of content, I think first it means we develop the audience base. So first you have to bring the audience into the theatres. So the way that everyone is willing to watch all kinds of Hindi movies, even if they are maybe serious movies or they're action films, not necessarily comedies. Once audiences start accepting South African content, and you've established your talent base, there are a few directors whom everyone is waiting, what are they going to make next? Or some actors whom everyone is waiting, what are they going to do next? And then you start experimenting with content. That's really like a carrot that you're putting out there. And I think that's maybe where, and I'm just going to put it out there very arrogantly, Indians as filmmakers, maybe when we come in and we do a little bit of collaboration with our South African partners, because yesterday we had a brilliant session with some students from DUT, the film students. I think it was a very bright bunch. And I would love to see them grow as well, because that's the next generation of storytellers here. I think it's not a very impossible idea, it's not a very difficult idea. But with a collaboration, also our cultures are quite similar. We are born, we're bound, like CG said, with history. So there is a huge Indian diaspora. There are people who are very sympathetic to Indian films, Indian content. I think a collaboration would just, within probably the next few years, if it starts now, you'd see a booming South African industry, God willing.
Give us an idea of how exactly film students could benefit from a treaty of this nature.
So one of the things that Sushil and I spoke with them was that any unit that is coming from India, and we are aware of that, apart from our network, when we have producers and a directors network, we will leave messages out there that anyone who is traveling to South Africa for a film shoot, they would reach out to the consulate in the different cities, and they then in turn would get in touch with, so that deserving students will always find a place to intern or apprentice and learn on the ground. And apart from, of course, different workshops that we are planning on, carrying on very ambitiously, but it's not unrealistic. We would love to, online through the year do stuff which could culminate here then in an annual festival. It's a beautiful city. Who wouldn't want to come back?
Sushilji, would you like to add to that?
Most of the things we have already discussed.
Right.
But when it comes to students' interaction, so I would suggest that we should have a student exchange program, because India has a lot of good film schools and they're cheaper than Hollywood. US for sure and other European countries. So it's good that you send students to India, and I think it's the best place to learn filmmaking. All the facilities are there, they will, on-the-job training is the best, and they understand culture, relationship, which we are talking about.
A very candid question for you, because you have an eye for pictures to tell its own story as a cinematographer. So how does Africa, on the whole, as a continent, fare in terms of, or in comparison to the rest of the world for capturing beautiful pictures and telling stories through the vision of your lens?
That part, yeah, we have everything here in Africa, from jungles to sea to hills, mountains, yeah, everything. So it's good to come here and shoot. The only thing is, it's a little expensive for Indian producers to come, the travel especially. So I was talking to sir that if we can have some kind of a subsidy for Indian producers like they have in most of the countries, that 30% subsidy. So I was asking him if we can have it on paper. You know, we are talking about it, but it's not yet done. Indians, the ministry gives subsidy to everyone. But here, we are not getting subsidy. Sorry if you can help us.
On a diplomatic level, I think that's just a few weeks or so. Maybe I just wanted to bring you back into the conversation here, because in the opening I did say that in South Africa, it's the more commercial films and the stories that are less serious that tend to do well. From your years of experience with the audience and of course distributing movies, why is that so? Why are we so unique as an audience?
So I don't know if it's unique to South Africa. I do think that the foundation of going to cinema is to be entertained. And so it's similar whether it's Hollywood content, Bollywood content, or any other theme content. And I think part of the reason is coming to the cinema is also a shared experience of escapism. People are already living challenged lives, so do they want to part with their money to come to a movie which might be having a heavy topic or a more serious nature? So there is that as a norm. However, alternate content and strong message content is developing over time. So there is certainly an audience that's growing over time that has an interest in that kind of film and that type of messaging. But it is really a niche. It's not, as I said, not unique to South Africa, not unique to Bollywood, even in the art house traditional form of Hollywood, they call it nouveau and art house. It's still a niche audience. So there is a balance in trying to find a way to tell important messages in an entertaining way. The best analogy I can give you is, as many of us may know, the former Indian diplomat Vikas Farooq was here many years ago. He was a dear friend, and I assisted him in structuring the sale to Fox Studios to make Slumdog Millionaire. Now that was dealing with the serious topic of slums in India, but the way it was structured was so entertaining that the message got through by capturing an audience and being entertaining. So I think it's about really finding that balance. But in the same breath, I think also one has to allow the creative license to producers who want to tell a story in a certain way, and we shouldn't confine that, and maybe we'll have to find interesting ways of promoting those alternative films, and then it's entirely dependent on the audience. But I think that's really the challenge if people come to get entertained. But while I'm on the topic, I would obviously want to acknowledge you both, because you are both very successfully esteemed in India in terms of your respective fields, and I overlooked acknowledging you both at the beginning, so it's really a delight to have you with us today. And obviously CG, I know we did a press conference recently, but take two in movie terminology, welcome to South Africa. I know that you have been here for 6 months, but I think like every diplomat that comes to South Africa, when their term ends, they don't want it to end because they fall in love with South Africa. So we're happy that you're here in your earlier stint, and I'm sure that you're going to have a wonderful time here, and you've got a great community in Durban that are very warm and hospitable. So we're happy that you're here with us.
Sure.
Just add a little bit. So I think taking off from what Mr. Musa said.
Please call me AB. Not
Okay, AB. Okay.
Abhishek Bachchan.
AB, all right. So what AB said, I think since this is the first, experiment really, because we don't know how many people would be interested in an international film festival or an Indian film festival, then going by the registrations, going by the footfall, is really how the industry also will judge what responses are to the different films. And that is encouragement, because once, on a smaller platform, you just give them a sample of different kinds of content, and you see, and they're exposed to that, and probably they're exposed to that, very fresh, or they haven't had much exposure. That would be a great way to start. So I think this is brilliant, because it also gives makers, exhibitors, that one parameter to really kind of check, okay, we have this, we are screening these kind of films, and there's a very good mix of stories which are very strong content-wise stories, but there's also action movies and testosterone-driven stuff and jingoistic stuff or whatever, and comedies. And you will then have a good idea, the filmmakers, I would suggest any filmmakers who want to attend the festival also do it with that little antennae up, saying which films are getting the most responses, and that will give them an idea of what the audiences want to see then.
And I have one closing question, and I'm bringing this in just because this movie has been selected for exhibition. I think it's on Saturday evening. It's a very special movie to Indian cinema, Durban, The Revenge. And it's sort of ironic because today we're watching Sher Shah, which was released on OTT first. It was during the lockdown, and we're getting to watch it on the big screen for the first time. And it seems to me that Durban, The Revenge Part 2 has actually benefited from its OTT release as well. It was a cinematic phenomenon, but a lot of people have watched Part 1 on OTT, and now they've gone back to cinemas to watch Part 2. Is this some sort of new trend? Is it possible that OTT can actually promote cinema in reverse?
So I think the Durandar situation was unique, to be honest. I'm not saying that they can't feed off each other, but Durandar's the production was actually done in one session, and they didn't want to edit because it was just too much content that they felt was important. So they very cleverly split it in half, basically, and did two components. And they did take a risk. There was no guarantee the movie was going to be a success. Obviously, this really worked out well for them because the sequencing was great. They did the theatrical release, which was great, and then people did watch it on OTT, those that missed it and those that wanted to watch it again, and that obviously added value to the marketing impetus of the Part 2. So I think it's unique, but it may be something that now other producers will look at in terms of being a concept. Let's see how it pans out, but in Dudandar's case it was certainly unique. It's the first time I've seen something of this nature, to be honest.
I was at Viacom 18 Motion Pictures, and we had commissioned Gangs of Wasseypur, and that was supposed to be one film. But Anurag Kashyap had written and he shot it in such a way, and it was just so brilliantly engaging that the decision was made to split it into two films to be a staggered release, exactly like Durandar, and this is pre-OTT. So it was Manoj Vajpayee and in the first one, who was the poster boy, who is so art house. He's not a popular commercial. He's not a Shah Rukh Khan or an Amir Khan or an Akshay Kumar. It's Manoj Vajpayee, who's known for serious cinema. So when Manoj is on the poster and Gangs of Wasseypur 1 really became a hit, and in 2 they put Nawazuddin Siddiqui on the face of the poster, and that was another marketing, it just hit bullseye. But that's really where I think that was a game changer in terms of our modern Bollywood cinema, where a director or a maker convinces a studio as well to not split up a film, and he's proved right. So that I think also paid off.
Right, I forgot about that. Yeah. That was the birth of this. So you're right.
So Shilji, some closing words from you about the impact of OTT. Is it possible that it's going to bring audiences to cinema?
See, to watch films, OTT is the best in today's time. But yes, it does inspire people to come to cinema because once OTT has limitations. sound limitations, visual limitations. You know, if you really aspire to watch a film properly, because we put in a lot of hard work shooting a film. So, like Durban is the example. Before they release part 2, they re-released the part 1 in India to refresh the film mind. So, you know, when you go see 1 and 2 together, then you see the whole craft. That it's so well-made film, which you can't experience this in OTT. The sound, that's amazing. The film actually blows your mind. So please watch this film.
So, coming from the experts is very something, you know, as from a common man's perspective, I would like to add something. OTT definitely they can watch movie at own leisure, own time. After everything is done for the day, I can watch a movie. There's no, there's no replacement of that. But one thing which keeps attracting me, person like me, to the theaters is this whole fragrance of popcorns. OTT cannot replace that.
Well said. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause to all our panelists, our esteemed members on the panel today. And as a token of appreciation, His Excellency will now hand gifts over to Jyoti ji, Sushil ji, and AB ji, if that's okay. AB.
Well, Mike, I just want to obviously acknowledge the Consul General, Shubham, Logan and the Avalon team for putting this together. You guys have done an exceptional job and a great collection of films as well. So well done to all.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give them another round of applause. Thank you so much for the grand opening to the Durban Indian Film Festival 2026.